Recording in progress.
Good morning. My name is Ken Claiborne, and I'm a member of the board of this congregation. Welcome to you all. Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. If you would like to learn more about this fellowship, please look at our website, uufe.org, and join us after the service for a virtual or real coffee hour. I'm not sure. We're in transition here.
Good morning, I'm Judy Darnell, and I'm a member of this congregation, and I'm bringing you our fellowship life. Don't forget the parking lot meeting at noon today. The parking lot committee will happily answer all your questions about the repaving process. Speaking of meetings, mark your calendars for a special congregational meeting on April 10th, also after the service. We will discuss funding for the parking lot. Many thanks to those who have brought food for the street side pantry. Now that we are meeting in person, Sundays are a great time to make a contribution. Our shelves are now fairly full, but remember that our neighbors regularly use the pantry. If you would like to donate cash toward supermarket gift cards, Ken Claiborne will be able to assist you. If you have information for the May focus, the deadline is Friday. That's just coming Friday. Whether you want to provide a summary of a committee meeting or an announcement of a community event or a special event in your life, or an offering of a quotation, photograph, or favorite book recommendation, please let me know by phone or email. My information is in the directory, or corner me after the service. Last week's collection brought us $80 to share with the Elkhart Humane Society. This collection will also be shared by the Humane Society. You can place your offering in one of the bowls at the back of the room. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Judy and Ken, and welcome everybody. So happy to see everybody here in person, and hopefully you folks at home can hear me okay. We're still working on our arrangement, as you can see, but we're trying to make it so everybody can see and hear and all those good things. I want to start off with just a moment of silence for the people of the Ukraine. We're going through so much hardship and terror right now. So we are in the process of trying to figure out what we want to do for our future. If you haven't taken part in a round one discussion yet, still plenty of opportunities. You can even grab one of the board members. We'd be happy to do a little meeting real quick, or at least I would. Guess I shouldn't speak for the whole board. I didn't ask them ahead of time. Round two is in process, and we really want everybody's input. So very important to help us out with that. If you'd rather just answer questions, like write it out or email, we're happy to send you. I think the questions have gone out a couple times, but we'll send them out again if we need to. Okay, at this point, without further ado, I'm just going to hand it over to Andrew, who's going to do a little prelude for us. And so we're going to mute 2 and unmute 4-5, Randy. And thanks to Randy for helping out with sound today.
Okay, let's see how my first hybrid service goes this morning. Hopefully I'm not echoing around the room any more than I would if I was standing there with you in person. People bring boats over angry seas, risked everything, given life to me, left a home they'd known for a stranger's shore, hope and hunger for one chance more. Irish blessings in American wakes, glasses raised to the hearts that break, gathered at the door to see them go, of the rest of their lives we'll never know. Hold on tight, storms on the ocean, hold on tight, storms on the ocean, and break through the door, slam in your face with the love that remains. Left behind, I never let go in my heart and mind of all their prayers and desperate dreams. Left behind, never change once you cross that line. The great divide that lies between the living and the left behind. Coyote howls in the Mayan night. A boy in the shadows slips from sight. The packet in his belly is his only chance at someone else's promised land. One foot down in front of the other. One foot down in front of the other. Hey, hey, hey. Down rising in your face with the love that remains. Left behind, never let go in my heart and mind of all their prayers and desperate dreams. Left behind, never change once you cross that line. The great divide that lies between the leading and the left behind. Leading and the left behind. One face in the morning sun, another journey's just begun. But time is a river and the river flows through a mother's love toward the letting go. Don't turn back even if you want to. Can't turn back even if you want to. Hey, hey, hey. The way ahead is yours to claim with the love that remains. Left behind, I never let go in my heart and mind of all their prayers and desperate dreams. Left behind,
We ring the gong 3 times. Once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those of us who are here now. And once for those who will come after us and build on the dream. The opening words today are by Erica A. Hewitt and were recommended by Andrew, who has helped us so much with today's service. The title is These Bodies, These Blessings. Let us remember and celebrate this morning that each of our bodies was woven together in the depths of a mystery. Cells multiplying, tissue taking form, organs taking up their functions, all under the silky cover of skin. Let us gather in reverence for the gift of these bodies, whatever their ages, their shapes, their abilities, and may we know them to be channels of the world coming alive through us. These bodies, these blessings bring the world to life through seeing, tasting, hearing, scent, and touch. May we bring to our intricately woven bodies a sense of sacred caretaking. In doing so, let us also be grateful for the embrace of the holy, the presence that creates and sustains life, the mystery that knit together each of our bodies, and the force of love that celebrates our desires. And now, please join with me in saying our unison covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. Now, we've already met and enjoyed Andrew McKnight, but I'm going to officially introduce him at this time. In 1996, he left a career in environmental engineering to pursue his journey as an award-winning folk and Americana musical artist. His talent is critically acclaimed as he entertains large audiences on elite stages, as well as small audiences on Zoom presentations like ours. We are fortunate to be able to enjoy his talent today. Oh, I can't not do this. I am so sorry. You did a moment of silence for the people of Ukraine, Carl. When I'm participating up here, I want to light this candle, not knowing much else that we can do, but hold those people close in our hearts. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. How wonderful it is to be able to be with you, being there in person, and I'm missing. I would love nothing more than to be there with you all this morning, but I'm sure glad to be able to be with you here from my living room. What an incredible journey these last couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of years. It is a bewildering time, this day of continuing blurs days and seemingly endless existential crisis. Somehow or other, we come here together this morning to hold each other in some comfort. As I'm fond of saying, to help each other get across this river somehow or other. And I hope that a little bit of perhaps inspiration from some unexpected guests from the past might help us get there a little bit more easily for a little while on this day. While we are a product of our genetic family inheritance, we are also profoundly shaped by the life experiences, upbringings, and stories of the persons who raised you, and in turn by the people who raised them. The genetic jungle that is our distant ancestry. If we're lucky, we know some bits and pieces of it. But why do I care? Why should I care? I mean, what's the point of all of that? It happened long ago. I don't know those people. Well, actually, you kind of do. You carry them around with you in ways large and small, mostly far beneath the surface, everywhere we go. And why? Because we are a people of stories. Each of us a collection of stories handed down to us from our ancestors. Stories of struggle and survival, and of everyday stuff and star stuff too. The family history that we grew up with needs not to be biological. Everyone who grew up with a parent figure or two is influenced by how they were parented, the traditions and the traumas that were passed down to them. In a way, adoptees are carriers of double the stories. For every one of those carriers in our family tree, whether they came from the people who gave us life in ourselves or who gave us life in the real world, they're all vital to us. But especially those on that family tree, the spaces we know, the names we don't. I've been trying to touch the past. I want to know just why I am. Reach back through the mist of time. So much I want to understand. You were a child once like me, full of wonder, full of pain. I know touch the past while the present slips away. But I've gotta know how your heart goes before those pages fade to gray. You were old once like me. I wish that I could see your face. No one else knows what's past our eyes. Hurt and anger, love and grace. This is the only life I know. In part you gave it to me. Look behind, don't look ahead. You are woven in a thread in my web of mystery. Someday, centuries from now, like coaxing amber into flame, since I've left a verse or two behind, someone might still speak my name. Someone might still speak my name. Someone might still speak my name. So let me ask this beautiful morning, what is it? What makes you special? Your skills, your talents, your accomplishments? Surely they too are part of the story we carry with us, as surely as we are burdened by our disappointments, our shortcomings, and our failures. But there is more to the story of you, isn't there? And you didn't do anything to write it. It happened in the cells of your grandparents and your 4 times great-grandparents and your distant ancestors in far-off lands eons ago. Even though they could not imagine you now sitting here at this point in your life, pondering my words, brought here by the skills and circumstances of your own life, they are here because you are. I am not the only one in this group this morning who has spent way too much time in the digital rabbit hole known as Ancestry.com. I've had the privilege and pleasure of talking to some of you in person about it on past visits and look forward to doing so again sometime soon. But it's sort of interesting when you're following those shaky leaf hints that Ancestry generates for you back into the past. My grandmother left a huge, big, bushy family tree with all these roots back into colonial New England and back to England. And I was following them one night because everyone who has colonial ancestry shares colonial ancestry with tens of millions of other people. And so it becomes more a case of following the work that someone else has already done to see if they did it right. And on this late night, I found that I was a direct descendant of a man by the name of Nathaniel Turner, my 10 times great-grandfather, a ship captain who was one of the founding settlers of New Haven, Connecticut, and in the 1640s he made his livelihood going back and forth to England. Until the storm immortalized by Hawthorne in his, or Longfellow in his poem, The Phantom Ship, which my ancestor happened to go down on. I thought about that for a while at that moment of discovery and thinking, dang, that's part of my story. And then I got to thinking it wouldn't have been if he hadn't had kids before he got on that boat. And I'm mighty glad he did. Because every one of those stories, every one of those people who carried those stories, whether we know their names or not, without any one of them, we're not here. And isn't that an amazing circumstance? We beat a bazillion to 1 odds that all of those people, all those years ago, those centuries ago, somehow paired up, had children, and randomly procreated their way all the way to you sitting in that chair this morning. You're a miracle, aren't we all? And that is a treasure well worth celebrating. 2,000 years ago today, a farmer walked his fields, wondered what the land would yield before the winter snow. 2,000 years ago today, 2 young lovers kissed, laughed and made a wish beneath the shooting star glow. Somewhere in a far and distant future, beyond imagining, as time takes away what will remain of how we lived and loved today. 2,000 years ago today, anger hurled a stone to break another's bones and keep some fool upon the throne. 2,000 years ago today, a cog in a war machine drew his last breath on a distant plain as he dreamed of home. Somewhere in a far and distant future, millennia beyond imagining, as time takes away what will remain of how we lived and loved today. 2,000 years ago today, a mama hushed her little ones, kissed them on the head and tucked them into bed, and turned her face toward the sky for blessings from on high, prayed to guide them safe on the unknown path ahead. She wondered someday in a far and distant future, millennia beyond imagining, as time takes away what will remain of how we lived and loved today. Of how we live and love. I would imagine that my ancestors had cats. You've probably noticed both of mine making a cameo this morning. I'm choosing to say that they are here as the spirits of my ancestors to keep us company this morning. Either that or they're looking for trouble to get into, and I hope they don't do it until I'm done on mic. So family can be a painful chapter, many chapters in our lives, can't it? Family members can be toxic to the point of necessitating partial or complete separation. One or both of your biological parents may have been a wrecking ball and made a complete mess of nearly everything they touched. But the influence of their parenting does not negate the full power of your ancestors' potential sitting inside you. I have been fortunate to make some rather incredible discoveries in my family. I did not know a whole lot about my great-grandfather for whom I am named. But I did know that he had come from Scotland, and I did know that he played the fiddle. And in the course of exploring my family history, I discovered that he not only played, but he composed music. And my parents dug out this piece of music that he had published that I hadn't ever seen. And this was probably about 2016, I guess. And here is this piece of printed sheet music, still in good condition, but with my name on it, and Roman numerals that indicate that it was published by a company in Dearborn, Michigan in 1906. He had written it for his wife, my great-grandmother, named Margaret, and the lyrics were very Scottish and very Victorian and not much to my liking. But I realized that he had written it in the key of A flat, which for any of you who play guitar, realize that that's probably perhaps an indicator of a complicated relationship. At any rate, I finally got my sister, who does read music, I don't, to sit at the piano and play it for me. And I was struck by a lot of things about it. It was a lovely little piece of music and far more complex than I had expected it to be. And I thought about all of the musical threads that ran through my family. My grandfather's sister, that I never met, was an opera singer. She went to Italy to study. She came out west and she lived a, shall we say, colorful life. Got married several times and sort of had a bit of that wrecking ball thing to her too. But she was gloriously talented by all accounts, and I never got a chance to know anything about that. And yet, here, the source of both her musical talent and what got handed down to me, had written a piece of music, a gift from my past, some musical threads for me to actually pick up and hold. I started writing the song that summer, and I didn't really get very far with it. I wanted to do something different with a guitar that I normally didn't do, and finger picking is not my style of thing. But I thought, I've been handed this bit of heritage and I really should try to do something with it. Long about that same time, my great aunt Margaret, the opera singer's grandchildren appeared in front of us one day on Ancestry. And we connected that night lifelong. Lives lived without any knowledge of each other. My cousin Carson turns out to have been a drummer for a band in New York and that traveled around Woodstock and all of that time, making albums, doing all of those things. We had never known of each other. He had another cousin, a half-cousin, who lives not far from me, and we arranged a visit. He from Seattle with his wife, Jane from Baltimore with her husband, here in my very house, with my grandfather's musical heritage, sitting together around the table breaking bread. It was a magical experience, and I realized that was what I needed to finish the song. But I decided that when I recorded it, I ought to perhaps start it by playing the piece that he Darkness kept safe in my feet. My stories like a sailor's prized possessions while he's out at sea. Wrinkled scraps of paper and faded photographs. My name on a manuscript, notes upon the staff, lines unfolding on these pages I am holding, written long ago. Oh, are the gifts running through my veins and fingers on the strings as they flow from these treasures in my chest? Timeless rhythm beats my breast. Memories and hand-me-downs present from the past. Countless treasures in my chest. Pieces of this puzzle of how I came to be. Family names and question marks, somehow part of me. Now I'm climbing up this tree, exploring branches that I see for the first time. Oh, Samaritans and saints, rogues and renegades all come alive from these treasures in my chest. Timeless rhythm beating steady in my breast. Memories and hand-me-downs present from the past. Countless treasures in my chest. Message tone awakens me from my imagining. Connections in the here and now that music brought to me. While they sat here at the table, raising toasts and breaking bread, and it was real. Oh, we are bound by magic twists, proof that they existed now revealed from these treasures in my chest. Timeless rhythm beating steady in my breast. Memories and hand-me-downs present from the past. Countless treasures in my chest. I'm rich with treasures in my chest. Let me leave you with this final thought this morning. Now, what makes you special? Magical, mysterious, beat a bazillion to 1 odds to be here, amazing you. One day, most of us will be the ancestors. May you live your today with the comfort of knowing that your stories will echo far beyond our reach. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for the thought-provoking program today. We apologize for the sound difficulties, but someday we'll get them worked out. He's very good. I really enjoyed his singing and his words. Our closing words are from Dr. Henry Louis Gates, and they were suggested by Andrew. We are the sum total of our ancestors. You are not limited by their limitations, but you have the potential of their accumulated sets of possibilities. And you are a product of their stories, even though You don't know it. Thank you all for joining us today.
And with that, here we go home. Rush hour traffic going nowhere. Merge becomes a contact sport. Frustration boiling over. Tempers brewing short. Suited man bucks the trend at the toll booth. That's the grandmother in. He knows the people that we share the road with. Have loved ones waiting just like him. Good things matter long after they're done. Good things matter each and every one. Good things matter no matter how small. Good things matter to us all. To your street boy behind the playground fence, with teams picked, game in full swing. His braces hold him back from what his glasses show. He is not good at this thing. A bigger boy who plays a game with natural skill and grace says, "Here's my bat, take my place." He knows the final score is more than runs across the plate by the man's hitter smiling face. Good things matter long after they're done. Good things matter each and every one. Good things matter no matter how small. Good things matter to us all. Linger for the old one's words. Let a child know she's been hurt. Ask a wallflower to dance. Give mistakes a second chance. Smile at strangers on the street. Share the table where you eat. Leave the extra change behind. Fight fear and color shine. Kind words to chase the grain. Things are hard by the way. It all comes back someday. Good things matter long after they're done. Good things matter each and every one. Good things matter no matter how small. Good things matter to us all. Thank you, friends. Go in peace.